Why is that so damn creepy? For context, what you're looking at right here is some really early test animation for the one and only Shrek. Well, kind of. You see, before Shrek became the ogre that we all know and love, voiced by Mike Myers, he was originally voiced by Chris Farley, and way more closely resembled the book that Shrek is based off. The footage that you saw there is from an early test of the animation of Shrek. The thing is, the majority of said animation is lost media. This stuff is locked deep within DreamWorks' vaults, and is probably never going to get an official release. But slowly but surely, people have been figuring out how to find these different clips. People have actually been finding clips of this lost tape. And it only gets creepier from here. For a while, all we had were just screenshots and a storyboard, and that was it. It basically consists of Shrek walking around this dimly lit little village while the song I Feel Good plays. He very uncannily dances around to it and moves around happily throughout the town, until he gets encountered by a mugger who tries to steal from him. Shrek then scares the mugger insults Shrek's mother, who, in the original draft of Shrek, his parents were a big part of the story, unlike in the finished version. And then after getting offended, Shrek grabs the guy by the neck, pulls him up, and launches him into the moon, and then continues to sing I Feel Good. And that's basically all that we know of this, because this really was just a test animation to see how the finished product would look. As you can clearly tell, the art style for Shrek was incredibly different from the finished product. Even the mugger guy has a completely unique art style that doesn't look like the humans in the finished movie. It seems like it would have been a much more stylized take on the story. This test animation was shown to Jeffrey Katzenberg, who was the CEO of DreamWorks, and he hated it, thought it was ugly, and did not want to see anything more like it. So the art style took a bit of a shift, but that's all we really know. In 1997, Chris Farley passed away, which majorly changed the production of this movie. A lot of it was basically scrapped, and majorly changed and redeveloped for when Mike Myers took the role. There were some scenes that showed some similarities, but a lot of it was still pretty different. Well, let's get back to the lost clip, and why it's so damn creepy. To me, the screenshots that we were provided before we had any actual footage are some of the creepiest ones that I've seen of any sort of lost media project. Because I don't know what it is. I think it's part of the lighting, the low quality, and just the general uncanniness of Shrek that just has this really eerie aura to it. It's something that's kind of hard to describe. Shrek is a character that's so familiar to so many of us, and we just, we know what Shrek looks like. We know what he should look like, but then to see him like this, in this like real life little city in dim lighting, looking straight at the camera, there's just something off about it. To be fair, he was quite a lot more hideous before they redesigned him, so I think that's also a part of it, is that he's just not nice to look at, which is great, and honestly, it really works for what they were going for, but he's really just gross. So once actual footage was recovered, it kind of made things even more mysterious, because it's only little snippets that were found by means of finding animators' demo reels, and then taking little snippets from there and posting them on YouTube, which, by all means, that's such a lost media way to find something. It's kind of awesome, and it's cool to see something like this happening as we speak. But the footage is so limited, and it's so just strange and uncanny. There's just something about it. In fact, right as I'm recording this video, like about a day ago, new test footage of this old Shrek was actually found. This is very early in the animation, but it's basically Shrek miming playing basketball, which was just done as an animation test to see his movement and stuff. And this was supposedly done later in the animation cycle, since he looks to be redesigned in a less ugly way. Another clip that was found is actual voice lines from Chris Farley animated with Shrek, in the same very primitive and like early test style footage we saw in the basketball clip. But it's really cool to see. Check it out.
No! I'm an ogre! Doesn't that bother you at all?
Nope.
Really?
Really?
Suit yourself.
To me, these clips aren't as necessarily creepy as the other ones, but they're still kind of weird. They remind me more of that Simpsons episode where Homer becomes CGI. The last bit of found media footage that we've got from this is early footage of Donkey, and it's pretty strange. Check this out.
I'm free! I'm free! I can't believe it! Thank you so much, you don't know what you've done for me!
I think part of the fear that comes from these images is the distortion of something so familiar that we know. One of the biggest things in horror that gets me is that when you take something that's familiar and friendly and twist it to be horrific, even in just a subtle way, that's one of the scariest things to me personally. And in my opinion, this Shrek stuff kind of plays on that. Not that it's intentional horror, but we're so familiar with what Shrek is and what he's supposed to look like, so then to see this early creepy version of him within this lost tape that we've got just a few snippets of, it's something special. I personally think it would be amazing if we find this full clip and more content from this lost version of Shrek. It's something that's fascinated me for a while since I learned about it existing, but since there's been such a slow trickle of information, and now there's like this boom in popularity, I feel like we might actually end up seeing more in the near future. I kind of want to start a discussion on this because I'm not sure if I'm just freaked out by this and I'm like the only one who finds this creepy, or if it's a universal thing and my explanation makes sense. There's something really special about this lost media because it's something so popular, but it's also something so locked up. I guess part of what makes it kind of scary is knowing that the actor who voiced Shrek here has passed away and that the whole thing was abandoned because of that. I'd love to start a discussion about this because honestly it's very interesting. So, that's why this clip is so scary, to my knowledge at least. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick one-off video, and I'll see you in the next one.